Next, we have Joanne Spears, and Joanne Spears is going to talk to us about the power of networking, which you all are going to be involved in for the next 24 hours. So Joanna, come on up. Round of applause for Joanna.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks, Michelle. Can you all hear me? Okay, great. So nice to be here. You know, the first time I addressed a room of this magnitude was back in high school, really long time ago. A friend of mine convinced me to apply to the Junior Miss Pageant of Santa Clara County. What was I thinking, right? But she made it so exciting. She said we'd get to wear ball gowns and tiaras. No swimsuit competition, of course. It was a scholarship program. So she thought I'd do well because of my grades. So I applied, I got in, I went to the pre-pageant meeting, but much to my chagrin, I was informed that 30% of the judging would be based on talent. And if anyone knows me, you know I have no talent whatsoever. So I had my miscongeniality moment and thought, okay, what can I do? So the only thing I was very confident about was my writing. So I wrote a monologue. And it was about my first date in high school. And it was funny. I mean, I had the audience really laughing because there was one mishap after another. Audience laughed. Even the judges laughed a little bit. But in the end, it really wasn't pageant quality talent. So I was somewhat relegated to the bottom of the stack. In fact, I like to say I finished 15th in a field of 14. But today, I'm sure the outcome is going to be so much better. For one thing, no judging panel, right? Another, I'm in a room full of 500 amazing people looking for new connections to learn and grow and also take advantage of all that this conference has to offer us. So I'm really excited about being part of your journey. I'm going to share my thoughts on ideas of engagement, basically how I make the most of networking opportunities. So 3 areas of focus: preparing, being present, and following up. So first off, preparing. Part of it is determining which events will be most effective for your goals. So, you know, when I first started networking, I would only go to the work events, right? They were basically for professional development, to meet other people in your industry, finding mentors to help you with your career. And I still do that. But more importantly, over the last few years, I've found that social networking can be equally important. For one thing, it helps you develop your social skills. And after so many years, you'd think I'd have social skills, but I'm still learning. So having a less critical environment, less pressure to socialize helps you actually in your work networking as well. And I have to point out, because I'm an empty nester recently, I took up a few different personal interests that I was so looking forward to. So one is book club, love reading. The other one is learning how to play golf. And I have to say, NJBIA has completely enabled this bad habit of mine. They have wonderful outings. But it has taught me, you know, you can find these microcosms of networking pockets. Golf is just like an instant relationship builder. For example, I started playing golf in clinics in Monmouth County. Basically, they teach you for a half hour and then they let you loose on the 9-hole golf course for an hour and a half with people you kind of know. So isn't this great? You're in a clinic with between 8 to 20 people side by side learning a new skill. That's team building, right? And then you're sent out onto the course with 3 other people you don't know very well, but I guarantee you by the end of that hour and a half, you're going to know a lot about them, their family, what they do for a living, what they like, what they don't like, and best of all, you are celebrating in their successes off the tee. You can commiserate about lost opportunities while putting, and also allow your friends for a couple of do-overs here and there. So great relationship building, and it's helped me so much in my perspective on work networking. So besides figuring out which event to go to, sometimes events allow you to look at a roster of attendees. So I belong to a local chamber of commerce. In fact, our executive director is here, Jennifer Eckhoff, so please say hello to her. She's a master networker. They basically give you contact information for everyone attending, so you can reach out before the event, arrange to meet. It's this very effective way of connecting for business. So doing your research, and even if you don't have a roster, you can think about who you want to meet. So for example, suppose you are looking or thinking about changing your job. I did that just recently. So you want to meet with either an executive coach or perhaps someone who's just gone through that experience. So keep that in the top of your mind. Then when you're at the networking event and someone asks you, Lauren, what are you most wanting to get out of this conference? And you can say, oh, God, I'm glad you asked. I'm actually thinking about changing jobs, and I'd love to find some resources to help me through that process. Well, an amazing, miraculous thing happens, right? You put out your personal want into the universe, and you suddenly become part of this amazing community who wants to help you. I think it's human nature, maybe it's female nature, but I've found that people are so willing to help once you offer something about yourself. One other thing about preparing for an event, be sure to update your LinkedIn, your company bios, etc. Because if you meet me, I'm going to go to your LinkedIn profile before I follow up with you so I can learn more about you. So having the most current information is really critical. And one other thing, you can actually create a clean business profile of yourself on your phone. You can go ahead and take out your phones and do it right now if you want to. But include your full name, your company, your title, and all your business contact info. That way you can exchange it later on in the session. So now that you're prepared, you've chosen your event, let's talk about being present when you get there. Now, just a reminder, we're all exactly where we should be, unless you're trying to fly out to Argentina today. But probably here by design. And I am so positive there are other people in the room looking to meet each and every one of us. So keep that in mind. Energy. It takes so much energy to network, right? I mean, it's kind of exhausting because you're meeting people for the first time. So bring your energy to the room. Now, suppose you came in with just kind of a half a tank. You know, you'll make it through your first couple of meetings. It'll be great. And then, plonk, you'll just run out of energy. So you'll go over, have a cup of coffee, sit down, start looking at your phone. Well, you're fully disengaged at that point. So bring your energy to the event, and you're going to have such a different result. You'll come into the room with so much more energy. You'll be open, have that warm aura. So much easier to smile when you've got lots of energy. And you'll be curious and have great conversations. So whatever you need to do to get that energy level before the event, do it. Some people exercise, others meditate. Some you'll see coming up in the elevator doing their, superwoman pose to get some balance, do some deep breathing. And I actually turn my iTunes up with Queen, and no reference to being a princess with Junior Miss. But Queen has amazing music to sing to, and I sing at the top of my lungs, trying to hit the high notes with Freddie Mercury, never quite get there. But there's nothing better to release endorphins to me than singing out loud the 6-minute Bohemian Rhapsody on my way into an event. So whatever you need to do, get that energy going. One other thing about focus during an event and being present, it's really important to make eye contact and really focus on the individual that you're connecting with. Just give them 5 minutes of your time. One other thing, I'm wearing my name tag, and I was told, God, don't wear your name tag up on stage. It looks kind of weird. But wear your name tag and be sure that it's, turned around and has your name on it. Because, often you'll see someone while networking that you've seen before, but they can't remember your name. So they kind of walk away or sort of say hi and then keep walking because they don't want to be embarrassed about not remembering your name. Or you meet someone for the first time, you're having a great conversation, you completely forget their name. Well, it's there on their name tag, so you don't have to worry about it and get distracted about not having a memory. That happens to me all the time. So I apologize in advance. Just have your name tags on when I meet you. Also being present. Thank you. I'm sorry. I just saw my 5-minute marker and I lost my place. So name tags. We are, conversations. Now, sometimes you're in a kind of awkward conversation and you can't keep the momentum flowing. So think about Maya Angelou. What would she do? I'm going to paraphrase her famous saying of, people might not remember what you said or what you did, but they're most certainly going to remember how you made them feel. So make people feel important. Focus your attention on them when you're speaking to them. There's a 70-30 rule where, you want to give the stage to your new connection 70% of the time so that they can tell you their life story. The other 30% is you sort of asking a clarifying question or perhaps interjecting an anecdote to keep the conversation flowing. But what that does is the people that you meet get to talk about themselves. And don't we love talking about ourselves? I mean, not to brag, but to share your life experiences. And it's so uplifting to have someone listen to those experiences and really relate to you. So now that you've kind of had a conversation and it starts to wind down, have you ever had this happen to you? And it's really annoying. So quiet moment during the conversation, someone says, "Oh, I'm going to go grab a coffee. Would you like one? I'll be right back." Never to be seen or heard from again. It's so embarrassing. You're abandoned. You don't know what to do. Should I go follow them? No, that would look like too needy. So you're standing there. There's so much more of a graceful way to handle disengagement. In fact, let's call it graceful disengagement. You can say something like, "It's been so nice speaking with you. I hope you have a wonderful conference, and we'll see each other at some other networking sessions," and walk away. Or if you want to make it more personal, you can say something like, "Michelle, it was so fun talking to you about your trip to Italy. If I meet people who are going to Italy, who are thinking about going to Italy, who are Italian, who love Italian food, who speak Italian, I'm just going to send them your way and you'll make great new connections." And then, of course, if there's someone you're speaking to and time is passing, 5-10 minutes, but you really enjoy talking to them, well, don't say goodbye. Say something like, "I have really enjoyed talking to you, but I don't want to monopolize your whole networking event. So why don't we go find some other amazing women to meet and keep the conversation going?" So you've created a wingman, easier to meet people that way. You can continue your conversation and you'll go on to meet other people. So now that the conversations are winding down, it's time to exchange information. And I've forgotten my cards, so great at networking, right? But there are wonderful ways to exchange your information electronically, and it's better for the environment anyway. So LinkedIn has this great way of sharing your profile by text or email. And even, remember that business profile I suggested creating on your phone? You can just open it, text it to your new connection, and they can text you back. Now, what that does is give you a complete electronic history of your most recent conversations. So all the new conversations bubble up to the top, gives you a reminder of who you need to follow up with after the event. Oh, and during the event and between networking sessions, be sure to take some notes. That will help you keep each conversation separate, because if you're like me, things start to meld together, and what Jennifer said earlier sounds like what Casey might have told me, and vice versa. So having notes will be very helpful when you're looking to follow up. Finally, when you're actually following up, be sure to make your messaging personal. There's nothing like receiving the canned connection request on LinkedIn. It doesn't work. But if you send and make time and send a personal message, people are really going to appreciate it. They're going to feel like that you connected over your conversation, you remember them, and it's going to go a long way. So whichever way you choose to follow up, make sure it's simple and that you are able to do it diligently. So I know I'm running out of time, but I just want to say one thing. How we have talked about preparing, being present, and following up. So how do you know when you've had a great event? So simply set a goal before you go and see if you achieve it. For me, I'm trying to make 10 new great connections. Now, not just meet people, but really connect. So I want to meet them for a coffee or a lunch afterwards, really get to know them. Now, if we all did that, 500 of us, there'd be thousands of new connections from this conference. And I know Kate Conroy was going to give me some happy jazz hands for a good golf shot. I'm sure she'd be doing them right now. There you go. Really excited about that process. Thank you so much for your time, and I really look forward to connecting.